this is the project that I've been working on, Once in a Blue Moon. This is a blue moon that I created in one of the videos, and then I created the pumpkin duo. They are both from Sizzix, and these were both the colorized versions. Today, to add to the project, I am going to be doing the little kitties, and they are called actually Mischievous, and the number is 665996, and there are 8. And how they come is there are 8 different shape kitties. I'm going to go ahead and straighten those up so you can see. Really simple to do. Just going to get that back down here in the view so you can see them. And there are 8 little heads that go on top of it. So really simple to make these. And if you use, you can use whatever paper that you want to, would make it even more quicker. But what I decided to do was I went ahead and I kind of colored up a piece of paper, and I used Distress Oxide black soot. Now you can see that it's not an even black, and I want that because I want the cats to have a little bit of character. Then for their heads, I used hickory smoke, and I lightly went over the top with black soot so that they would still match, but this would be noticeable on top of the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get these all cut out so you can see what they look like cut out. But I have a plan, and I'm going to see if I can get that to work with these heads to give them a little bit more character. I just wanted to show you how I could get all the cats to fit on the layout that I did. And then of course the heads aren't really all that much of a big deal. But this piece of paper is 11 inches long and about, whoops, go this way, and about 2 3/4. And then the one for the cat heads is about, it's a little bit really shorter, I don't really need that much, but it's about 5 by about 1 3/4 or 1, oh, just a minute, I'm upside down, hold on. Here we go. It's about 1 1/2, 1 3/4. I would do 1 3/4. So I just wanted to let you know if you want to take a picture of that, and then you know the layout that you can do. Okay, so I have them all cut out, and I was going to show you how they do have a little bit of character. I don't know if you can see the little bit of lines that the blending brush does give them. So they do have like almost like little streaks, and then they're kind of cool. At any rate, what I wanted to tell you was that each cat has a number. And so if you look at the back, this says, let's see if I can get that to work, cat 3. Now what's important about that is that each head has a number also. So for instance, this one right here says cat 3. So if you want to make sure that you keep them lined up, I would probably do them one at a time so that you can match them up. Otherwise you're going to have to put them back inside of each one of these dies to figure out which one is which. So my suggestion, when you take them off, if they're still inside, like for instance, like I said, this says cat 3. I'm going to go ahead and write right on the back 3, if I can find my pencil, which is probably hidden. There it is. All right, so I'm going to write 3 on the back so that I know that this goes with 3. And like I said, this one is also the number 3. So on the back of this one, I'm going to write 3. So that's what I'm going to do with each one, so I know what goes with which. I just wanted to tell you that was my tip, so that you don't have to keep trying to figure out which one is which. Especially with the heads, they all pretty much look the same. So this helps you to identify which one goes with which. Okay, so I've got all the heads put to the right cat body. And I wanted to show you what I meant about wanting to do something maybe a little bit different. And I probably put a little bit too many whiskers on this one for my first attempt. But what I'm using is embroidery floss. And I wanted to tell you, embroidery floss comes in 6 strands. And depending on if you've ever done embroidery floss before, but it comes with 6 strands. And all we really need is 3 to make the whiskers. I think would work fine. Now, if you want them thicker, you can add more and just use the entire, the 6 strands. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do just 3. And to do that, what all I do is I separate them, and then I just kind of like pull it apart, so I can just have, and I untwist it a little bit so that I can have the 3 strands. I'm going to go ahead and get that to the end. I've got one piece cut. That was my scrap that I had sitting in my embroidery floss box. Let's make it a little twisted towards the end. So I might just stop so I can show you what I did. I think I will. All right, so then what you do is you take the 3 strands, right? And all you do is you tie a knot. And like I said, if you want more, if you want your whiskers, if you want more whiskers, then I would add more. And you know what, just looking at that, I think I do. I think I like that it has a little bit more whiskers. So what you would do then, okay, I think I need a little bit more than that, is that you can go back and you can figure out, okay, I want 4, or I want the full amount. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the other end so you can see what I'm saying. Think I can do that? Yeah, I still have some there. So this is the full 6 strand, okay? And you do the same thing. All you're going to do is just tie a knot. Now you're going to say how long. Well, it has to do with your fingers. If you can make a smaller knot, make a smaller knot, then you won't be wasting your embroidery floss. But you want to give yourself enough so you can tie that knot. And that's all you have to do. I think I like the 6 strand better. And then what I did is I just trimmed that. And you can always go back in there and make it smaller if you don't want it, or bigger, so you can leave it bigger if you want to. It's up to you. And it does make a difference for each cat's head. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. So then all I do is that little knot is the spot in which I put my glue on here. Or you can put it on here, but I think it's easier to put the glue on the head. Let me get a little closer. Okay. These other cats. Whoops, I don't want to lose whose head goes with which body. Okay. So this is one of the smaller heads. The ones I already showed you was like a kind of a smallish, but it was medium, a little bit bigger, but pretty close. So all I'm going to do is just take and put a little tiny dot of glue about right where I want. I'm calling the knot the nose. And of course my glue dried up right there. I don't need a lot of glue. You know how things go when you go to do something and it clogs up. Here we go. Now it should work. So I just want, like I said, a little dot of glue where I would say the nose is going to be. See? Just like that. And then I'm going to take the little whiskers and press that knot right into that whisker, or right into that glue. Now you can see that the whiskers can go all wonky. If you want them that way, leave them that way. If you don't, you can spread them apart because we have 6 strands, or you can just leave them as is. And I kind of sort of try to manipulate it as the glue is there for them to go a certain direction. I don't know, I'm still questioning whether or not I want 6 strands. I think I might like 4 better, but we'll see. I think 3 was too small. So that's the head with a little bit of whiskers. And test it out, see what you like. You might not like the 6 strands. And it's not, you don't use that much floss, you're not really wasting anything. So I think that's super cute. And then to put that head on the body, I just use a little bit of foam tape on the back of the head. Let me show you. Here's my number 5, so I know I've got the right head to go on the right body. Let's check out this body, make sure. Okay, that's the number 5. This was the number 5. And I'm just going to set that right up on top. Just like that. Now we've got like a 3D kitty with a lot of whiskers on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. That gives them some character to have the little bit of whiskers. So I'm going to do that for all of them, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have the whiskers in all the kitties, just to let you see how they look with their little whiskers. And I ended up going with 4 instead of 6 or 2. I actually liked that best. And so some of them have different personalities because of their whiskers. So I just kind of like wanted you to see what those all look like. And then I wanted to also show you, I pulled out those, that's just 5, and obviously we have 8. And I was influenced greatly by Tim Holtz makers. And I'm going to get these out of the background, I think, a minute so you can see. I really like, this is number, I'm going to tell you what all the numbers are so you know what I'm using. This is number 8. And number 8 fits on top of Otis really well, the blue moon. And what the maker did is they just wrapped that tail around the end of the moon. And I just think that is just so adorable. So that's part of what we're going to use for the project I'm working on. And then the other one, other 2 actually, is the pumpkin. And this is number 1. And so number 1 will be sitting on top of this pumpkin. So you can see those 2. Get those in the, so you can see them. End up covering up the tongue completely for the blue moon, which I thought might happen, but I wasn't sure, so I left the tongue on there. And then the other part of the pumpkin duo, this will go to the side. And again, like I said, I was greatly influenced by what the Tim Holtz makers made. Now, that is what we need so far to create the project. Now I'm going to show you what it is, just to give you a little bit of a hint of what I'm going to be using. I haven't got that totally together yet, but I know what I want to do. And that is, I am going to be using a very antique spool. And this dowel rod fit perfectly inside of the top. And then I have beads that were perfect. They fit perfectly inside. I'm going to paint all of these stain them so that they match up as close as I can get them to my spool. And then I'm going to add like chipped paint, or have a little bit of a look of chip paint using some of, I think I'm going to use some of Tim Holtz product to get these stained. But as I figure that out, I'm going to show you in the next video. So I hope you come back so you can see what we're going to do for the finished product. Thanks so much for stopping by.